You sing like an elephant. You're just not good enough. Girls are made to be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen. And when I asked for help, I was told you're big, fat, and ugly enough. Just go do it yourself. Well, those words freaked me out. And as soon as I could, I got a job at the age of 15 in a restaurant, not barefoot or pregnant. I worked there during my childhood, and when I turned 18, a couple of things happened. My mom and her new partner decided to go off cruising on a holiday. So I moved into my own space. At that time, I also had a premonition I wasn't going to live very long. So I started saying yes to life and then learning how. That took me into working in a casino as a croupier and saving up enough money so I could go visit my parents who now landed up in the Caribbean. I flew via New York City, one of my dream destinations that I wanted to go to. I had $300 in my pocket and I thought I was so rich. The first time an American said to me, "Can I have $1?" I was like, "Say it again, I'll give you another." It was amazing. And 3 days later, I went and met my parents in the Caribbean. My first job was on a day sail yacht. And we used to take tourists on tours and make food for them and snorkeling tours, and I met amazing people. But 6 months later, my friend and I wanted to escape hurricane season. So we got a lift on a yacht, sailed through the Bahamas to Florida. And the Americans had told us, when you're traveling America, do not talk to strangers or take a Greyhound bus. So we did both. We took a Greyhound bus from Florida all the way to New Jersey. And by the time we arrived, we knew everyone on that bus. We both got a job as an au pair. And then my mother gave me a call and said, actually, we've been offered an opportunity to fly back to South Africa, get on a yacht, and sail back to the Caribbean. Obviously, I said yes. But nothing could prepare this 21-year-old socialite for that isolation. No boys, no devices, just my mom, dad, and myself. It was an amazing experience, one I swore I would never do again. But then this beautiful yacht came into the harbor the one day. I met the owner at a party. He asked me if I knew of a chef, as they were leaving for Turkey the next day. And I went, I'm a chef. I mean, I'd done home economics at school. And the next day, I joined the yacht as the chef for 7 men. 2 days out in the Atlantic, my childhood challenges were yet again raised when Boris from Turkey said, in Turkey, when a man talks, a woman shuts up. Well, Boris, in South Africa, if the woman's the chef, you do whatever we need you to do. 28 days later, I arrived in Turkey, and when I returned back to the British Virgin Islands, I came in on the wrong visa, and I got deported. But last flight in, and true Caribbean style, the immigration officer said, well, I'm off on Wednesday, so please come back on Thursday. I spent the entire Wednesday at the immigration office demanding to speak to the chief immigration officer, telling him what value I could add to his island if he just helped me find a job. And I told him then I'd bake him a cheesecake. He found me a job. He got cheesecake. And my first job was running an Italian cafe. He asked me if I had managerial experience, and obviously I said yes at 22. This restaurant I ran, I worked for a dictatorial, aggressive leader. His tantrums were Oscar-worthy. When I'd worked for him for 3 months, I was the longest person that ever stayed, and I lasted 3.5 years. But what kept me going was spending my hard-earned cash at Kito's Gazebo across the bay. And 4 years later, when they advertised they were looking for a manager, obviously I applied. Again, they don't hire women because restaurant turns to a nightclub, fights break out. But I'd done karate for 3.5 years and I could kick any man's butt. Having said that, I had 4 very successful years. At the age of 29, one of my childhood dreams came true when I gave birth to my beautiful son. But recognizing I was in an abusive relationship, I decided to return back to South Africa with my 11-month-old Caribbean souvenir. My first interview was with the Woolworths coffee shops. And again, I was told, single mom, stay home, look after your child. Well, fun fact, single mom, you need to work. I worked at the Woolworths coffee shops for 14 years, constantly saying yes, yes to the promotions, yes to working extra shifts, yes to doing whatever they needed me to do, and often, yes, never showing weakness around a boardroom table filled with men. And what I now learned is every one yes to someone else could be 1,000 no's to your family and yourself. So after 29 years in hospitality, I decided, let's do something new and do a change. And I joined the real estate sector, faking it until I made it. During this time, I was a team leader, and I worked at this beautiful real estate company for 16 months. 2 days before the president put the country in lockdown, our entire leadership team got retrenched. So I started my own company, The Winning Attitude. January 2021, somebody on Facebook put a post and said, whose life had pivoted due to COVID? And obviously, mine had. And he asked me, are you a keynote speaker? I quickly went to Google. I was like, I can do that. And I said, yes. And then I got 2 bookings, and I thought, crap, I better learn how. I signed up to numerous courses. I learned a lot about public speaking, and now I am even a public speaker trainer. So I ask you right here, right now, how many times are we too scared to say yes? Fear of failure, or even fear of success. But my one thing is, what is the worst thing that could happen? You could die, and you only get one chance at that. So I ask you, anytime somebody asks you, say yes, and then learn how.